16-bit graphics.
In our last episode, we started unraveling the science of nostalgia, that complex, bittersweet emotion that keeps drawing us back to our past. We established that, as Wildschut and colleagues found in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, nostalgia isn't just passive memory recall, it's an active psychological resource. It provides comfort and connection, especially when we feel overwhelmed. And let me tell you, as a 12-year-old just finishing grade school in 1994, excited for summer, but unknowingly on the cusp of a huge cultural shift, that comfort was about to become incredibly valuable. I was a Little League All-Star, genuinely happy, and had, honestly, no concept of what it felt like to truly worry. This pristine state of childhood innocence was about to collide with a very different, very complicated world. The Super Nintendo game Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball, which I picked up in early June of '94, became an anchor. It's a game that immediately transports me back to those sun-drenched, worry-free days. But it also offered something vital when the pop culture landscape around me was rapidly changing. I'm going to show you how this specific game, delivered at the exact right personal and cultural moment, provided a powerful sense of order and optimism when everything else felt different, and why it still holds such an outsized nostalgic impact on me today. The immediate, unadulterated joy of Griffey is its superpower. Unlike complex sports simulators, this was pure arcade perfection with its vibrant, cartoonish graphics and rock and roll soundtrack. And yes, it had real teams and stadiums, but only one real player, the larger-than-life, Ken Griffey Jr. Jr. was a beacon of effortless cool and athletic grace. He was the perfect hero, untainted by cynicism. And the gameplay itself? Pure flow. Pitching was intuitive, batting was all about timing and a satisfying crack. Those home runs? Absolute bombs that soared off the screen with pixelated glory. Remember from episode 1 how retro games offer a comforting return to simplicity. Griffey epitomizes this. It offered predictable, high-reward mechanics. According to research by Clay Routledge and his co-authors, nostalgia functions as a psychological resource that boosts positive affect and self-regard. For my young brain, mastering the hitting mechanic in Griffey, which was challenging but fair, and being instantly rewarded with a monstrous 500-foot homer, was a consistent, reliable source of mastery and achievement. This provided a crucial sense of psychological comfort and competence at an age when identity and competence are so central to development. Now, let's talk about my personal cultural soundtrack in the spring and summer of 1994. This was the season I first discovered Green Day. Dookie dropped in April, and its raw, rebellious energy was instantly captivating. Soon after, Weezer's debut album hit, offering a different, equally compelling blend of power pop and angst. Meanwhile, huge, heavier albums like 9 Inch Nails', The Downward Spiral, and Soundgarden's Super Unknown were redefining what heavy meant. These records were brooding, intricate, and unlike anything my young ears had processed before. They felt important, but also complicated.
Kurt Cobain was found dead this morning.
And then, in early April, the devastating news of Kurt Cobain's death truly sent shockwaves. It was a stark, bewildering moment for a kid who was just starting to understand alternative music.
Shotgun laying across, pointing to his neck, and there was a suicide note stuck in a potted plant that had been dumped out.
That I've named myself the new manager of the Minnesota Twins.
At the movies, Little Big League convinced my baseball-obsessed mind that a kid could actually run a major league team.
You know how hard it is to manage? It's the American League. They got the DH. How hard could it be?
And the first Ace Ventura movie had my friends and me endlessly quoting Jim Carrey's slapstick genius.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
On TV, MTV was my window into a more adult-focused metal music scene with Headbangers Ball.
Fresh out the box. Stop, look and watch. Ready yet?
While Nickelodeon's All That offered pure sketch comedy escapism, that grounded me to childlike purity. This era for me was a fascinating collision. On one hand, the carefree fun of Ace Ventura and all that. On the other, the growing weight and complexity of bands like Nine Inch Nails and the tragic reality of Cobain's death. Griffey was a consistent, bright, optimistic counterpoint to the growing complexities and darker undertones of the pop culture I was starting to absorb. It provided a powerful sense of order when the world outside felt like it was losing its innocence. But the impact of Griffey wasn't just my solo experience, it was intensely social. This was a two-player staple. The game had real teams, but fake player names due to a missing Players Association license. The cartoonishly muscular players who would hilariously break the fourth wall and yell at you when you struck out all had fake names.
Oh, come on!
On the Phillies, for example, you had players with names like R. Balboa or Rocky Balboa, who represented the Phillies' real catcher at the time, Darren Daulton. Each team had its own theme, making it even more funny to see the fake names. These thinly veiled pseudonyms were part of the game's charm, inviting players to figure out who was who. The developers knew players would prefer real players be in the game, so they allowed for roster edits. We'd spend hours in the edit player screen. This wasn't just a quick task, it was a meticulous, collaborative effort. My friends and I would pore over our baseball card collections, carefully renaming every single player on our favorite teams. We'd share inside jokes and secrets about the game. For example, the headbanger in the crowd that looked suspiciously like Matt Pinfield from MTV, the ability to bean a batter, crazy unhittable curveballs, bunting tricks with faster players, and pretending to catch foul balls that would seemingly fly into our living room. These multiplayer experiences, playing this game with family and friends, was a huge social anchor. The shared memories, the inside jokes, the camaraderie built over fake names and real home runs cements the memory. Research by Sedikides and colleagues from 2015 emphasizes that nostalgia primarily serves a social function, strengthening feelings of belongingness and social support.
He's out! He's out!
These shared Griffey sessions affirmed our friendships and reinforced a sense of collective identity, making the game a powerful conduit for that social nostalgia. It reminds me of a time when our social circles were simple, strong, and centered around a glowing CRT screen. So, Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball as far more than just a great 16-bit baseball game. For me, acquiring it in early June of a rapidly changing 1994, it became a vital piece of bright, high-reward escapism. It was a perfect, contained world of order, achievement, and shared joy. It provided my 12-year-old brain with the specific psychological comforts and social connections it needed when the cultural soundtrack of the real world was growing loud, complicated, and challenging my innocent worldview. So what about you? What memories do you have of playing Griffey? Did you ever play a full 162-game season? Share your own nostalgic Griffey memories in the comments below. Next time in our series, we're shifting gears completely, looking at the pure creative freedom and boundary-breaking joy of another SNES classic, Mario Paint. What problems did that game solve for our developing creative minds? You won't want to miss it.